Welcome to the Rise of the Trades podcast, the show dedicated to helping you to build, grow, and scale your trades or construction business. All rise for your host, Craig Wilkinson.
Welcome to this week's coaching episode of the Rise of the Trades podcast, where we help trades and construction business owners to skyrocket leads, explode net profits without having to graft 60 hours a week and becoming that busy fool. In this episode, I'm going to be teaching you how to create your 12-month and 90-day business plans in 5 simple steps. But before we go there, I'm getting increasingly excited, and you know why if you are a listener to this podcast, because over the coming weeks, we're going to be launching our brand new Trades Freedom Club membership, our groundbreaking training platform, and a secret community where you're going to get all the help, coaching, mentoring, accountability to build and grow and scale your trades business. But on top of that, which ties in very nicely to today's episode, I'm going to be coaching you all on a free 8-hour full day online workshop where I'm going to be taking what I'm going to share with you today, and we're going to take it online, and I'm going to do it live with you on a live full day trainings session. Now, if you want to get access to that online training day, all you need to do is listen through to the end of this episode where I'm going to give you more details on how you can get that full day's free live coaching with me, where we create your 12-month and 90-day business plans. Now, let's transition over to this week's episode. Do you have a crystal clear written down business plan of how you're going to grow your business? Have you completed a full-blown business evaluation and broken your business down into key areas and turned those key areas of your business into a percentage so you can see what's working in your business and what's not working? Because it's what's not working that we need to bring into a business plan. But let me ask you another question. Do you actually even know how to create a business plan? I mean, come on, you're in business to create time and financial freedom for your family. So we've got to plan out how we're going to achieve that. But most business owners, and me, being honest, included, for the first 15 years of me building and growing my joinery and building company, all I used to do was wing it. I had no plan. I had no clear direction. If I'm honest, I was just keeping my fingers crossed and hoping and praying that what I was doing in my business were actually going to work. And if it did work, I was keeping my fingers crossed that I was going to earn enough money and get enough time to be able to look after me and my family for the next 30 years. But as I experienced over them first 15 years, and no doubt if you're winging it, you'll be experiencing the same challenges. Winging it is not the best place and the best thing to do, is it? If you're growing a business. I mean, come on, your business is the vehicle, is the financial tool that's going to generate you a weekly or monthly income, a financial reward, and that financial reward has got to take care of you and your family and give you the lifestyle that you dream of and you deserve. So we can't keep winging it in our business and hoping and praying that what we're doing is going to work. We've got to have a cast iron written down business plan and clarity of where we're heading. And if we have that clarity and we can create that vision, and we've got the steps that we need to take to work towards achieving that vision, then all of a sudden we've got a plan and no longer are we winging it. Now, over this last 12 years, I've had over 2,000 trades and construction business owners come and spend the entire day with me, either live at an event or online if it's further afield. And I've worked with them to create their 12-month and 90-day business plans. But coming into this process, many of them are experiencing challenges and issues in the business, such as many of them have fallen into a negative rut and they feel a little bit demotivated on what they're actually doing. Because over the period of time they've been in business, they've tried different things and winged it and kept their fingers crossed that it were going to work. And no doubt some of these things will work, but a lot of what they've tried has not worked. And therefore they get demotivated, they fall into a bit of a negative spiral. And I dare say in some cases, many of them, especially those that have been established for some years, have actually started falling out of love with the business. Many of them are working long, hard hours and they're grafting on the tools all day. Then at evenings and weekends, they're doing the paperwork and the admin or doing surveys and looking at jobs. And therefore they're working stupid hours and burning themselves out. Many of them are not earning the profit margins that they think they should be earning. Why? Because they don't understand the numbers in the business. They've never sat down and planned out what their turnover, gross profit, net profit, retained profit, balance sheets, break-even figures, hourly rates should be. So they're winging it with the numbers and therefore not making the profits that they should be making. And overpaying on taxes because they haven't got a shit-hot accountant that's helping them to stop overpaying on taxes and make more profit. Many of these have winged it with the marketing strategies and gambled on websites and paid ads and thrown money into all these different things that seem to generate leads. But in reality, when they've chucked their money into it, it's just not delivered the results that they were thinking because they haven't got a plan and a strategy. For some people, they've got no systems in place within their business. So they're having to do everything manually themselves. They've got no systems running the back end and their operations and their marketing and their sales pipelines. And they're doing everything manually, which is leading them to working stupid hours. The conversion rates aren't as good as what they should be because they've had no sales training and they don't know what a sales pipeline looks like or a customer journey. So the conversion rates aren't good. In other words, they're looking at a lot of time wasting jobs and not winning the work. And the final one for me, personally, is when I used to wing it, I didn't have a plan on how to recruit the best team. And as we know right now, there's a massive shortage of highly skilled labour. But if we don't have the plan of how we're going to attract and employ the right team, whether that's employed members of staff, subcontractors, admin team, if we don't employ the right team, we're just going to end up with problems. So I've experienced all of that negativity, if you like, or all of them challenges myself in business. But at the same time, I see it day in, day out with people who do not have a plan. How on earth can you get to where you want to be if you haven't got the plan or the stepping stones to show you which direction you should be going in? You see, you might be grafting and grafting and grafting and going 100 miles an hour in one direction. But actually, if you stopped for 5 minutes and you had a plan, the plan would be telling you you should be going in the opposite direction because that's a much quicker, easier, risk-free way of achieving your goal because you've got a plan. Are you with me? And when I explain all this to people, the ones that are truthful with themselves said, you know what, Craig, you're right. You are right, but I have no idea how to create a business plan. It all sounds overcomplicated. And I'm like, listen, it's not complicated. You see, 15 years ago, I came up with my own business planning strategy. where over the years I'd taken bits from everything I'd been learning and I thought, hang on a minute, all this lot seems like hard work. Surely we can start to create plans that are easy and simple to use. Surely they don't have to be mega complicated like other people had shown me. So what I set out to do 15 years ago is come up with a strategy on how we can simply create a business plan that makes total sense. You see, I didn't want it to be complicated. I wanted it to be easy. I didn't want it to take weeks or months to pull it together. I said to myself, I've got one day to invest into this, and by the end of that day, I wanted to have created a plan. And I didn't want things all over the place. Documents, Word documents, Google Drive documents, spreadsheets, calculators. I didn't want all that. I wanted everything in one simple place. I wanted simple tools where I could create a plan in a day or less. And that's what I've created. And over the last 15 years, I've refined it and refined it and refined it. And now I believe I've got the ultimate business plan that anybody without having any experience in planning can actually create their own plan. And this is the strategy that I've shared to over 2,000 trades and construction business owners that are now massively benefiting from this simple strategy and easy to use tools. So, grab your notepads, grab your pens and your tablets, yeah? And let's get stuck in. What are some of the things that we actually plan in our lives? Because we do plan, things such as holidays. We'll plan where we're going, destination, we'll get family involved, we'll put the dates in as diary and we'll work towards paying it off. Same with weddings. We plan weddings years in advance. Parties, social events, trips and days out, pensions and planning for future investments, planning on moving house. But the thing that pays for all of these, the vehicle that's going to give you the financial reward to allow you to have all these things in your life, your business, for some bizarre reason, we don't seem to plan it. And for me, this just does not make sense. If you want to build a certain lifestyle that's going to look after you and your family, and you want certain things in your life, the vehicle that's going to give you those things, the financial reward comes from your business. So if we're planning holidays, days out and moving house, we've got to start planning the business to allow us the financial rewards to be able to pay for the lifestyle that we dream of. So what I'm going to share with you is the 5-step formula, if you like, that I've put together over these 15 years and I've refined it to put these plans together are super simple that anybody can do. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to share with you what the 5 steps are. And then what we're going to do is we're going to explore each of these 5 steps in more detail. So write these 5 steps down. Step number 1 is we are going to identify the areas of our business that we need to include in a business plan. And what I mean by that is people say to me, Craig, what goes into a business plan? I don't even know what goes into one. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to identify the key areas that we're going to build in to your business plan. Step number 2 is called business vision. We've got to create a clear, crystal clear vision of what your business looks like when it's built and it's done. Because if you haven't got clarity over what that looks like and you are procrastinating or playing your head tennis on which way you're taking your business, then you're never going to get to where you want to be. The vision is what we create, and then the plan is put together towards that vision. Step number 3 is a business evaluation on your current business, where it is right now, as of today, as a percentage. How is your business currently performing? And I'm talking about overall as a business percentage, but I'm also talking about the individual areas that we're going to build into that plan. We're going to dissect and we're going to look at one of them each individually and turn that into a percentage. Now, the reason why we have to do this is we need to look at basically your business strengths and weaknesses. Because there'll be certain parts and areas of your business that you're flying with and you're doing really well on. Brilliant, keep doing it. But it's the weak areas of your business that's holding you back. So if we don't evaluate where your business is currently at, how do we know what are the key and the right areas that we need to work on and put into your business plan? Step number 4 is then we're going to create your 12-month business plan. But what we're then going to do is we're going to dissect that business plan into 4 bite-sized manageable quarters. Quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4. Step number 5. What we're then going to do is create a 90-day business plan. You see, it's all right having a 12-month plan, but if we can't achieve what we've set out to achieve in quarter 1, then quarter 2, 3, and 4 go out of the window. So what we're going to do then is we're going to take everything that we've got in the first quarter of our 12-month plan, and we're going to get laser focused on what that 3-month or 90-day plan looks like. So they're the 5 steps I'm going to walk you through. What we're now going to do is we're going to explore each one of these 5 steps in a lot more detail so you have more of an understanding of what you need to do. Now, my goal from this episode is for you to be able to go away just from listening to my voice. It's not even a video, this is it. I can't demo anything to you. But from this episode, I want you to go away thinking, actually, the way in which Craig's broken that down, it's easy and I get it. And in actual fact, even without my simple tools, you could actually create your own tools and build your own plan. So that's my goal. However, remember what I've said at the beginning of this episode. If you want to join me for a full day's coaching where I walk you through this and I give you the worksheets, plans, templates and tools, listen out at the end of this episode. So let's start off with step number 1. And that's where we need to identify the areas of what's going to go into the business plan in the first place. So what I want you to do is write down these areas. The 7 areas of business are, number 1, I want you to write down mindset and personal development. Now, you might say, what on earth has my mindset or my personal development got to do with growing the business? Well, listen, when people have said to me over years, Craig, how did you do it? Honestly, give me the silver bullet, give me the magic pill. How did you go from that busy fool, carpenter and joiner, being robbing Peter to pay Paul, a poor team, a poor managed business working 80, 90 hours a week? How did you go from that to where you are today? And what I said to him is, I shifted my mindset. And they're like, no, tell me, what do I need to do? How can I make more money? How can I work less hours? And it's like, you need to shift your mindset. Because the key to unlock your success lies within your own mindset. And I have this phrase, which if you listen to my episodes or you're in my Facebook groups or you come to my events, you'll know what it is. And that phrase is this: the business is never the problem. The problem is always the mindset of the business owner. And if you've got a fixed or closed mindset, you're never going to get your business to where it wants to be. You've got to develop a bulletproof, open growth mindset so that the knowledge that you're learning from these episodes, you implement into your business because you know and you believe 100% they're going to work. But too many business owners' mindsets have become closed and negative and fixed, and they're not prepared to change. So for things to change, you have to change, or all you'll ever have in your pocket is change. So number one, we've got to factor into this plan the transformation of you as a person, because if you want to build and grow and scale your business, you've got to build and grow and scale yourself first. You can't get your business to where you want it to be with a fixed mindset. So number one, we're going to build in your mindset and personal development. Number two, we're going to build in time management. In other words, what's the plan to reduce your working hours? What's the plan to get your team to do more in less time? What's your plan to become more productive? What's your plan to become more organised and more efficient? All this lot is time management. And for many business owners, you are wasting so much of your 168 hours that you've got in your week doing things that you shouldn't be doing, or tossing it off and doing stupid things that are just sapping your time when you should be spending your time in other areas of your business. Do you get what I mean? Number three, finances. We've got to build finances into the plan, because ultimately you're in business to make a net profit. You're not in business to break even or make a loss. And the more net profit we can make, then the more surplus cash we've got. And the more surplus cash we've got, the better lifestyle we can build for our family and the more investments we can make. But most business owners don't understand the basics around the numbers. They don't know what the cash flow situation's like. They've never done a cash flow forecast in their life. They don't know what the gross profit margins are, the net profit margins, retain margins. They don't know what the balance sheet break-even figures or hourly rate should be. We've got to build finances in. Number four, your marketing strategy. If we're going to scale our business beyond where you've got it now, you're going to need more leads. But we don't just want any random leads. We only want leads coming into our business from our most profitable customers and clients in the highest concentration. So how are we going to do that? Is it websites? Is it landing pages? Is it funnel building? Is it video marketing? Is it email marketing? Is it SMS marketing? Is it paid ads on Google, LinkedIn, or Facebook? Is it magazine articles, radio advertising, leaflet drops? All these things need to be factored into your plan. Number five, systems. You've got to implement systems into your business so you're not manually, physically having to do every step and every process yourself. And let me tell you now, write this down. There are 3 different systems that you need to run a successful trades or construction business. Number 1 is an accounting system, Xero or QuickBooks. Number 2 is a job management system, something like ServiceMate. Number 3, something to manage all your marketing and your sales pipelines, something like Leadzilla. If you haven't got those systems in place, you're going to end up doing everything manually and staying up till midnight doing all your paperwork. Number 6, sales. We've got to make sure that our conversion rates and ratios are going up. We need to be selling more of the most profitable products and services. But how are we going to do that? Have you got a sales pipeline? Have you had some basic training on sales techniques? Because many of you think you can sell ice to the Eskimo, but you can't. You think you can because you win X amount of jobs. But for some of those jobs that you're losing, where the customer tells you it's down to price, it was never about price. You, as an individual, have turned them off by what you've said or done, or not said and done, because you're not experienced when it comes to sales. And number 7, and the final one that I put into plans, is your team. You see, you cannot build and grow and scale a business yourself. You've only got 168 hours in a week. You can't get everything done. So ultimately, you are going to need a team. And this team may consist of people such as an apprentice. It might be an employed member of staff. It might be a subby. It might be a freelancer. It might be a new accountant or a new marketing company or a new health and safety company. They're all part of your team. So when we're looking at the 12-month plan, the 7 areas that we build into that plan and the 7 areas that we've got to focus on are those 7 that I've just rattled off to you now. They're the things that in step 1 we need to build into your 12-month plan. Step number 2 is your business vision. You see, you've got to create the vision of where you're taking your business over this next 12 months. And I hear people saying, oh, you need a 10-year vision, you need a 5-year vision, you need a 3-year vision. It's like, come on, listen, it's all right having a 10-year vision, but if we can't smash the vision in the first 12 months, the other 9 years that you've just wasted time planning have gone. I'm a firm believer in plan for 12 months because during that 12 months, literally anything can happen that could either speed up you achieving the plan or put your plan further back. So what's the point of planning 3, 5, 10 years time? Yeah, it's nice to have an idea of what you want, but come on, let's get real. Let's just smash the first 12 months. So what we do when we come to creating the vision for the plan is we go back to the 7 areas in step 1. And I say to you, look, if these are the 7 areas that we need to build into the plan, surely it makes sense to break each one of those 7 steps down into an individual vision. Because if we can build a vision up of those 7 areas of business, when we put them all together, combined, that creates your future 12-month vision. So what I want you to do now is I want you to put yourself in your shoes as though I'm catapulting you 12 months into the future. And you're going to be 12 months into the following year. And I want you to write down whatever date it is you're listening to this episode on. Write down today's date, but make it the following year. So if you're listening to this episode in 2024, it'll be 2025. If you're listening to this episode in 2025, it'll be 2026. Are you with me? Then what I want you to do is go back to area number 1, mindset and personal development, and ask yourself, in 12 months' time, where do I want to be with my mindset and personal development? What do I need to be doing to develop myself? And this can be anything from a new morning routine to a new evening routine to listening to motivational educational content, listening to podcasts like this on a daily basis, YouTube, Spotify, books on Audible where you're getting audio books. Are you getting a better diet? Are you going to start to exercise? Are you going to start looking after yourself and your health and well-being better? You know, when we look at your development, if I'm sat here now in 12 months' time with you, what are you going to tell me it all looks like? Because it can't look like what you're doing today, because that's not progression. And if we're not progressing and growing ourselves, I've already said that you can't grow your business, you're going to struggle. So come on, I'm sat here now with you in 12 months' time. What does the mindset and personal development look like? And I want you to write that down in as much detail as you can. Because the more detail we get into, the more it becomes a reality. Then what I want you to do is I want you to go to area number 2, which is time management. And if I'm sat here now in 12 months' time, what you're going to tell me is happening with your time management. I mean, the first thing you want to write down there is how many hours do you choose to work in 12 months' time? And I'm not saying you've got to do what I want to do, which is work the least amount of hours as I can, right? Because you might not want to do that. You might be happy working 40, 50 hours a week. If that's the case, put it down. But come on, at some point, you need to free up some of that time to invest into you, your hobbies that you once had, but you packed up in pursuit of growing your business. You want to spend time with your family, maybe your kids, maybe more holiday time. Are you with me? So when it comes to time management, where are you going to be? How are you managing that time? Are we time logging? Have you got a default diary? Are you saying no to people? Have you got rid of all those low value tasks like answering your phone, dealing with emails, doing all your own pricing that in reality, I believe somebody else should be doing? You shouldn't be doing admin work. You're not an admin person. You're a business man or woman. You need to be focusing on high value tasks, not low value tasks. So when it comes to time management, where are you in 12 months' time? Area number 3 is your finances. So again, I'm sat here now in 12 months' time. What are you telling me your finances look like? Because for some of you, you've got work to do. For some of you, you might have got overdrafts. You might have got bank loans. You might have racked up things on Visa. You might have used your VAT money as an overdraft and now you've not got enough money to pay the VAT man. So what's the plan to come out of that debt? Maybe you're not in debt, but maybe you're not making as much profit as what you should be. Right, you need to start looking at your numbers then. How can we increase our profit margins? What gross and net profit margins do we need to be making? What are the products and services that you're currently offering that actually don't make you a great deal of money? But actually, when I do more of this or fit more of this, I make more profit. Right, let's focus on getting more leads in then for your more profitable products and service and slowly wean out the services that don't make you the money. Maybe you are making profit now and you're doing well. Brilliant. How can we drill down on them numbers to squeeze even more profit out? Can we reduce us overheads? Can we put us prices up? Can we bring in a new product or service that's got a higher margin? So we need to be looking at the finances. So I'm sat here now, 12 months' time. What does it all look like? What's your turnover? What's your gross profit? What's your net profit? How much money do you want to be taking out of your business this time in 12 months? Number 4 was marketing strategy. So I'm sat here now. What's the vision like? What do you need to do when it comes to marketing over the next 12 months? Because if you want to scale your business, you're going to need more profitable leads. Right, where are the leads going to come from? What new content or what new marketing strategies do you need to introduce into your business? Do you need a new website? Maybe you've got a website now, but it's not generating your leads, and you've invested $3,000 into a website, and all it's done is give you an online presence. Right, so you need to start focusing on the SEO of your website. You need to be focusing on the 16 features that you need to add on your website to turn it into an inquiry generating machine. Maybe you need to get into video marketing. And if you know me, you'll know that I am mad on video marketing. Why? Because videos are the most powerful form of marketing known to mankind. So if we're not using videos, do we need to bring videos in? Do you need to start looking at introducing lead magnets and landing pages and funnels into your business? Do you need to be looking more into email marketing and SMS marketing? There's that many different strategies out there that we can bolt onto our business. So in 12 months' time, you might not have got all that in now, but in 12 months' time, what does all that lot look like? I want you to write that down as your vision. Number 5 is systems. Where are you going to be in terms of systems over the next 12 months? Maybe you haven't got any systems whatsoever in your business and you're really just doing everything manually, spreadsheets, Word documents, typing emails and text and WhatsApps up every time. Come on, there's software and automation that we can use now. So I've already said to you the 3 softwares that that we get our inner circle members using and we advise that you all use are Xero or QuickBooks for your accounts, ServiceMate for your job management, Leadzilla for your sales and marketing. So if you haven't got anything like that in place, that's where I'd suggest that you start. Maybe you have got systems in place already, but you need to improve them because your business has evolved, right? So if we're going to improve the systems that you've already got, what do you need to improve? And on top of that, if you have got systems, have you got all the procedures, all the SOPs, standard operation procedures, that show you and your team how the system runs? Because if you haven't got procedures, i.e. instruction manual on how your systems work, or you haven't got video tutorials on things like how to create an invoice or this is how we price a job in our job management software, if you haven't got those procedures, then you can't go on holiday for 3 weeks to Florida with your family and your kids for your dream holiday without having to answer your phone and deal with enquiries and leads and team and customers because nobody else knows how to use the systems other than you. So it's great having the systems, but we've got to document how the systems run so we can procedurize it, so we can delegate the running of the systems to somebody else. So I'm sat here now in 12 months' time. What does all your systems look like? What software do you need to bring in? Number 6 is sales. So I'm sat here now in 12 months' time. What's your sales look like? What's your sales targets per week, per month, per quarter to achieve the profits that you need to provide you and your family with a lifestyle that you want? How are you monitoring your sales? Have we got a sales pipeline built in something like Leadzilla, where every single stage from lead coming in to surveying the job, to pricing the job, creating the proposal, emailing it out, winning the job, ordering materials, ordering labour, communication with the customer through that job, all the way through to a 5-star review and video testimonial being left, and your referral strategy kicking in on how you're going to educate your customers to win you more business from their family, friends and work colleagues. All that lot needs putting into a pipeline so that you and your team can see at any one time where your customers are in that customer journey. Because if you've got 30 different steps to get a customer down in your sales process, from being a lead all the way through to getting a video testimonial at the end, if there's 30 steps, and there will be, 100% there will be, 30 things you need to do for one customer, what happens when you've got 10 customers on the go? And this could be 10 customers in different parts of the pipeline. Some you could be just quoting. Some jobs you're actually working on. Some jobs have come to a finish. If you haven't got a sales pipeline that's systemized and automated, and you've got 10 customers, and that's not many, is it? 10 customers, all with 30 things to do. That's 300 different tasks that you've got to remember to do. Why? Because you haven't got a sales pipeline. So what I'm sat here now in 12 months' time to you, and I'm talking to you about sales and sales pipelines and sales techniques and how can we get our conversion rates up. What are you going to tell me? The final one is number 7, which is team. So if I'm sat here now with you in 12 months' time, what does your team consist of? Who does it consist of? And the way I like to start with this is this one. Who's out, right, over the next 12 months? And I know that sounds a bit harsh and maybe a bit forceful, but come on, you can't carry people in your business. And I'm sure over the time you've been in your business, you've worked with or carried or employed a team that might be subbies or employed staff that have just caused you no end of grief, or they can't do the job properly, or the workmanship and skills and craftsmanship's not there, or they don't know how to communicate with customers, right? You must have had them people working for you. Perhaps you're listening to this now going, do you know what, Craig? I've got one or two of them already, but I daren't let them go because I can't find anybody else and I'm really busy, so therefore I need them. Really? What, you're gonna accept that you're employing the wrong people with the wrong skill set just because you're busy and you can't find anyone else? Really? So come on, who are you getting rid of? And I'm not just on about your people on the tools. I'm on about people like your accountant. Have you just got an accountant that just seems to contact you a couple of times a year, remind you 2 weeks before a deadline to get your self-assessment tax or your corporation tax in, and then hits you with a bill with tax that you weren't even expecting? I mean, come on, you don't want to be working with people like that, do you? You want a brilliant accountant where you're having quarterly meetings and they're teaching you how to make more profit, how to stop overpaying on taxes. You know, you're going to make this amount of profit this year, so you need to set a pension up so we can offset that profit into your pension to get your tax down. All that lot is part of your team. So number one, who's out over this 12 months? And number two, who are you bringing in? Because as your business starts to scale, you're going to need more staff. We've already established you can't do everything yourself, or she'll be working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So who are you bringing in? Maybe you do need an apprentice. Maybe you do need another person on the tools. Maybe you do need to sack your accountant. Maybe you do need to work with someone like me moving forward as part of your team. So what I want you to think about is in 12 months' time, what does my new team look like? If I'm sat here now in 12 months' time, who is part of your team? So think about this. By dissecting these 7 areas down and getting laser focused on what you need to be doing and where you need to be in each of those 7 areas over the next 12 months, in actual fact, what you've done there is when we club all them areas together, you've just created what your 12-month vision is for your business. But we've not just created and conjured up any old random vision. What we've now created is individual visions for each area, and we're getting laser focused on what we need to be doing and where we need to be in each of those 7 areas. So now, congratulations, you've got a version 1 of your 12-month business vision. You've now got clarity of where you're heading and what it looks like. We're not just winging it anymore, conjuring things up in his mind. Oh, it'd be great if I could do this. Wouldn't it be wonderful if that could happen? Could you imagine me achieving that? All that nonsense stops. It's right. That's the vision. Let's roll the sleeves up and let's get stuck in and let's go and achieve it over this next 12 months. Step number 3 is what we call business evaluation. And what I mean by this is we have to evaluate where your current business is at so we can identify what's working and what's not. Because the things that are working, we need to keep doing more of them. Yes, if we can improve them, let's improve them. But in reality, it's all the weak areas and the areas that you're not very good at, right, or in. They're the areas that are holding you back from growth. So we need to factor those areas in as a priority into your business plan. So what we're now going to do is we're going to take them same 7 areas that we've just created the 12-month vision with, and we're going to dissect each one of them areas down into looking at how each one of them are performing in your business as a percentage. Now, This is going to be a little bit more difficult to do because right now you've not got my business evaluation workbook. And in my business evaluation workbook, I ask you 165 different questions that all roll into those 7 key areas. And by asking yes and no to each one of them questions, that then evaluates your business into your strengths and your weaknesses. And what we then do is we look at all them 7 areas and we turn each one of the 7 into a percentage of how your business is currently performing. So mindset and personal development, it might work out that you're not very good at it. You're not actually investing into yourself. You've got no morning routine. You're not listening to educational content. You've not got a good diet. You're not exercising. So your mindset and personal development, when we go through these questions, might come in at 10%. So we know that there's a lot of work to do in that area. Then we look at time management, which were number 2. And we'll dissect that down and turn your time management into a percentage. So we'll look at everything in your business that accumulates to time and turn that into a percentage of how that's working. Now, if you're working long hours and you're constantly stressed and you feel burnt out and you're firefighting, then clearly you're not going to be very good at time management. So your percentage might come in at 20%. That means we've got 80% more work to do in time management. Finances is the 3rd one. We'll do the exact same in finances and we'll break that down. And again, if you are not very good at your finances and you've got debt, or you're not making enough profit, or you don't know how to price jobs properly, or you're using your VAT money as an overdraft, or you don't have 4 bank accounts set up where we're splitting us money up. If you're a bit tight for money and you've got cash flow problems, again, you might be 15%, which means we've got a lot of work to do with finances. So what we do is we take them 7 areas and we look at them. And let's say, for argument's sake, that marketing, let's say that you're smashing it with your marketing and you're generating more leads than you can cope with and your conversion rate's right and your marketing's generating your profitable customers. Your marketing might come in at a high figure, maybe 80%. Okay, well, if that's the case, there's not as much work to do in marketing. So we'll take that time and we'll invest that time into the areas that aren't working. Do you get what I mean? Now, obviously, I can't just rattle off 165 questions on this podcast because we'd be here all day. So given the fact that you haven't got my business evaluation workbook that I will give you if you are lucky enough to get onto the live coaching business planning day that I'm doing, I'll give you that. But what I want you to do in the meantime is look at them 7 areas. And if you got to have a guesstimate of how each area was performing, and you know your business, you know it, what percentages would you put to each one of them 7 areas? And gauge it based on what I've just said. If you're not fit, you're not healthy, you're not working on yourself, it's going to be a low figure. If you're like me and you've developed a bulletproof mindset and you work on yourself every day, you might be 90%. Look at your time. If you're working long hours, then obviously your time is going to be a low percentage. So all I need you to do is go through each one of them 7 areas and put a percentage to each one. Now, hopefully, you'll get a few areas that you feel as though you're really strong in, and that's brilliant. But don't be, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say disappointed, because you don't have to be disappointed. But if you'll start looking at this and going, actually, there's a lot of work to do in all areas, then that's fine. I'm telling you now, when I do this business planning masterclass with you, the vast majority of people, when we go through them 165 questions, are going to look at it and go, flipping heck, Craig, I've got some right work to do. And that's okay, because at least now we've got a starting point and we know where we're at. Things can only get better from that point on. So Put a percentage to mindset and personal development. Put a percentage to time management. Put a percentage to finances. A percentage to marketing. A percentage to systems. A percentage to sales. And a percentage to team. And then at that point, we've got a starting point. Then what we're going to do in the next step is we're going to be lifting all the weak areas that you believe you've got. And it's those weak areas that we need to improve that we're going to put into your 12-month and 90-day plans. Step number 4 is 12-month business plan. This is where we're going to create a 12-month business plan. Now, what I want you to do is either get a simple spreadsheet or a notepad and pen if need be. And if it's a spreadsheet, I just want you to create 4 columns. If you're writing it down on a notepad, just split your page into 4 columns. And you're going to call column 1, quarter 1, column 2, quarter 2, column 3, quarter 3, column 4, quarter 4, right? So all we're doing is breaking it into 4 columns. Now, obviously, if you come on the business planning workshop, I'm going to give you the spreadsheet that's already set up to do this. But nevertheless, all you need is 4 columns. Then what I'm going to ask you to do is go back to step 3 and look at those 7 areas that you've now turned into percentages. And what I want you to do is look at the weakest areas, not areas, and ask yourself, right, if over the next quarter, the next 3 months, the next 90 days, the next 13 weeks, whatever you want to call it, if I could only work on 10 different tasks within these different areas that you've turned into percentages, which of those tasks would I work in quarter 1? Because you can't work on everything overnight. It's not doable. So what we're going to do is we're just going to choose 10 tasks that fall under the weakest areas. So let me give you an example. Let's say that you are weak in marketing and you know deep down that you need a new website. So what you'd write down is, I need a new website and I need to sort my SEO out. Then you might look at finances and you might say, well, actually in finances, I know for a fact that I don't understand gross profit. I don't understand what my net profit is. I don't know how to work it out or where to find it in QuickBooks or Xero. And you need to get top side of that. So the second task that you might work on under finances is understanding and learning what your gross and your net profit margins are. Then you might say, well, actually, in systems, Craig, I'm weak because, I've got QuickBooks and Xero, but I ain't got ServiceMate. So the next point must be, right, well, within the next quarter, I want to have got ServiceMate set up. So I need to go and start a free trial. I need to be able to go and understand how it works and start building it out. Are you with me? Now, what I want you to end up with is just 10 tasks in quarter 1, in column 1. And the reason why I'm saying only put 10 in is, remember, I've been doing this for 15 years and taught over 2,000 people how to do this. And the average number of tasks that they do in quarter 1 would be 10. Now, I'm not saying you can't do more, because some of the tasks that you look at might not be a lot of work in them. Maybe we can do 2 or 3 tasks in a week. Therefore, we can pull things through from quarter 2 into quarter 1 if we get quarter 1's plan done in the time frame. But what we don't want to do is put 20 different tasks in quarter 1 and set yourself up for failure before you've even started. So all I'm asking you to do is go and look at them areas, look at the individual tasks that you need to do within those 7 areas, and put 10 tasks into quarter number 1. Then what you're going to do is you're going to say, assuming I get all them 10 tasks done in the first quarter, I need to turn my attention then to quarter 2, which would be 3 to 6 months in your plan. And now I want you to go back and look at what you need to work on and come up with 10 more tasks. And then what you're going to do is you're going to populate quarter 2 with those tasks. Now we've got 2 quarters, which is month 0, month 1, if you like, to month 6. We're halfway through here. If we can attack and achieve them 20 things in first 6 months, we're halfway there, aren't we? Then what you're going to do is you're going to repeat the process for quarter 3. So you're going to go back and you're going to go, right, I need to find another 10 tasks that I need to work on between 6 to 9 months. And you're going to put that in quarter 3. And then you're going to do the exact same for quarter 4. So now I'm 9 to 12 months into this plan. What am I going to work on in that last quarter? And you're going to go and choose another 10 tasks. So what you've now ended up with is a 12-month plan that has broken down into 4 quarters. And in each quarter, you've got 10 tasks to work on. That's 40 tasks, if you like, over the course of 12 months. Now, when you think about this, let's say that you have 5 weeks off a year on holiday. Let's say you work 46 weeks a year, and we've got 40 different tasks to achieve in that year. It's basically 1 task a week that you need to complete. And yes, I understand that some of these tasks are going to be bigger than others. So for instance, it may well be that, well, Craig, I've got down, I need to build a new website. I can't build a new website in a week. No, you can't. It's going to take you longer. However, you might have got a task down that you've taken from your mindset and personal development area, which is, I need to join gym, smart my diet up, stop knocking 4 bottles of lager down my neck every single night and cut down on takeaways, because obviously all that is going to help your health and well-being. Well, listen, that could be done in a week, can't it? You can make the decision to join a gym. You can buy a pair of trainers. You can go for a walk, a jog, a run. You can sort your diet out, not buy as much alcohol, not order as many takeaways. You see what I'm saying? That's easily achievable in a week. So by putting 40 things on your 12-month plan, all you've got to basically focus on is, right, I've got roughly 1 thing to do per week. And as long as I do them 1 things per week, I'm going to tick everything off in my first 12 months. And all that lot is working towards the vision that you originally created. You see what I mean? So creating a 12-month plan is not mega complicated. And that's how I want you to structure it. Now, if you easily achieve quarter 1, remember there's around 13 weeks in a quarter. So let's say you get to week number 9 and you go, Craig, I've nailed it. I've done all 10 tasks. We're not just going to put us feet up for another 3 or 4 weeks. What we're going to do is we're going to go to our quarter 2 and we're going to look at what we've got in there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pull some of the quarter 2 tasks into quarter 1 to work on in them remaining 3 or 4 weeks. So now you're actually doing more than what's on your plan, and that's fine. But we need a starting point. We need a version 1. And this is exactly how we start to plan. Step number 5 is now we're going to create your 90-day, your quarter 1, your first 3 months, your first 13 weeks business plan. And what I mean by this is, just like I said earlier, when I said, what's the point of planning? 10 years in front or 3 years in front. If we can't nail year 1, year 2, 3, 4, 5 of that plan is redundant. It just don't work. So what we've got to do is we've got to take that same philosophy and apply this to our 12-month plan. And the reason why I get you to break it down into quarters is, one, it's bite-sized and manageable chunks, so it's not overwhelming. But number 2, we need to break that first quarter down and get more laser focused and more laser specific of just having 10 tasks wrote in quarter 1. Because if we don't nail quarter 1 and we fail at the first hurdle, then again, quarter 2, 3 and 4 are going to be redundant. They're not going to work. So what we're going to do in this step, number 5, is we're going to take them quarter 1 tasks, break them down to a point where you know exactly how long each task's going to take, who's going to be doing each task, and on what week of the 13 weeks that task is going to be accomplished by. And this is what we call the 90-day business plan. So again, what I'd like you to do is create a spreadsheet, and I just want you to put 1 column on it. Or if you're sketching this out on paper, on a pad, just create 1 column. And at the top of that column, I want you to write down your action goals. And the action goals are the 10 tasks that you're taking from quarter 1. And you're going to write in there each one of them tasks in column number 1. So we've got them listed out. Now, don't focus on trying to put them in order of priority of what you're going to be working on, because you'll never get them right. So just put them in a random order. It's fine at this stage. Then what I want you to do is create another column to the right-hand side of that. And in that column, I want you to write down how many hours. And what I mean by this is, how many hours are you going to estimate the action goal, the action task to take to be completed? Now, on my masterclass, people say to me, Craig, I get that, but how long's a piece of string? And I'm like, what do you mean? And they'll say, well, I don't know how long it's going to take me to set up a cash flow forecast. I don't know how long it's going to take me to set up Service Mate. I don't know how long it's going to take me to shoot and record and edit my first introduction video for my new website. How am I supposed to know that? And I get that. But at the same time, you're in business, aren't you? And what do we have to do in business? We have to estimate time. We have to estimate time when we're pricing jobs. How many hours, how many days will that take in labour? We have to estimate our hourly rates. We have to estimate our profit margins. We have to estimate how many materials, or what's the material cost going into that job. We've got to estimate our overhead contribution towards that job. Are you with me? So you're already estimating in your business. And to become a really good business person and a business leader, you've got to be able to be good at estimating time and money and tasks in your business. So it doesn't matter if this is not absolutely bang on to the minute, but we've got to start somewhere. So you might look at it and go, how long is it going to take me to plan, script, shoot, record and edit a video? Well, listen, put 1 day aside. You might record a 2-minute video, but to plan it and script it, then shoot it, then edit it, then upload it to YouTube, it might take you a day. So put 8 hours down. Are you with me? You've got to estimate how long each one of these tasks is going to take you. So you're going to create that column, how many hours, to the right-hand side, and you're going to go down line by line of these 10 different action goals, and you're going to say, how long is it going to take me to achieve each one? Then once you've done that, you're going to put another column in. So now you're up to 3 columns. And in that third column, you're going to put by who. By who. And what I mean by this is, whose responsibility is it to do that action goal? That time and that goal that you've just set, who's going to do it? Now, in your business, you might be a micro business. You might just be a self-employed joiner like I started off 30 years ago. And it might be you. So therefore, you've got to do every task because you haven't got anybody else working with you in your business. That's okay. If it's you, you write your own name down for every task. But I know that some of you who are listening to this will have a team. And that might be a team of people that you can outsource to internally. So you might have a full-time admin person, as an example. You might have a marketing company that you can outsource the video editing to, as an example. You might have a really good accountant that can sit down with you and help you work out your gross profit and your net profit margins, and even show you how to create a cash flow forecast. So it might not be you that does this. You might be able to delegate this to somebody else. So if that's the case, who are you going to delegate that task to? Write their name down. Now what I want you to do is go and create 13 columns to the right-hand side of who's doing that task. 13 columns. And each column represents a week in your plan. Because in a 90-day plan, in a 3-month plan, there's going to be 13 weeks within that plan. So if we create 13 columns, each one of them columns represents one of the weeks in that 13-week plan. So next, go and create them columns. And at the top of each column, you're going to put week 1, week 2, week 3, all the way up to week 13, so we know what weeks we're working on. Now, the next thing I want you to do right now is I want you to commit right now to how much time are you prepared each week, not month, not day, each week. How much time each week are you prepared to invest into working on your business, working on this business plan, and working on this 90-day business plan? How many hours a week are you going to commit to? Now, the reason why I'm asking you to commit to some now is we need to start factoring your time into how long each one of these are going to take, these tasks are going to take, and on what week are we going to undertake that particular task. Because remember, you've added these 10 tasks to column 1 in a random order. They're not in priority. So what we're going to do is we're going to be going down line by line and looking at each one of these tasks and saying, right, I've got 13 weeks. On which week am I going to start that particular task? So it doesn't matter that you've added things in a random order in column 1, because the 13-week columns and each row, we can now plot onto that when you're going to do that task. But we need to understand how many hours you're going to invest into this plan each week, so we know how much of that time to assign to each of one of them tasks. Okay? So I want you to commit to that now. Now, it's usually at this point where, I'm in classroom, I've got my flip chart up, got my presentation up, got my calculator out, and one of the attendees or one of the business owners will say to me, Craig, how much time do you think we should be invested into this plan? And that's a bit of a loaded question to me, because there's no right or wrong answer to it, but I can tell you from my own experience, the more hours you put into your plan, the quicker, obviously, you're going to achieve time and financial freedom. So I've had people on my masterclasses put, Craig, I'm prepared to invest 4 hours a week, maybe half a day a week, into my plan every week. And I'll say, listen, that's absolutely fine. If that's what you want to do, then invest 4 hours. But let me tell you now, 4 hours is not going to see you through this plan. You'll not get everything on that plan done. Them 40 tasks you'll not get done in 12 months if you're only going to put 4 hours a week into working on your business. Because in reality, there's a lot of work to do in your business, not in the first 12 months, just in the first 12 months, but maybe the second 12 months. And if you're only going to put an hour, which is less than an hour a day, 4 hours a week, which is obviously a lot less than 4 hours a day. Getting tongue-tied here. Apologies for that. If you're going to say 4 hours a week, that's less than an hour a day. How on earth are you supposed to achieve time and financial freedom only investing less than an hour a day into growing your business? You're not. Now, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. If you want to put 4 hours down, put it down. What I'm saying is it's going to take you a lot longer. So then they say, well, how long do you think we should put down? And I said, well, in my mindset, it's like, how quick do you want these results? Because if you are prepared to do what I've done over years, and I have done this, if you know my story, you'll know that I were at rock bottom. You know that I had nothing. I were on my arse, right? I've made so many mistakes in my business. I couldn't get any lower. So for me to get from where I was to where I wanted to be and get rid of all that pain, get rid of all them debts, get rid of working stupid hours, move on the stuff that I needed to move on, put the systems in place in my business, learn about sales. I'm like, I need to do all that. I can't do it all overnight, but I'm not going to let it take me fucking 3 years because I don't want this pain any longer. So I set myself a goal that within 18 months, I would have systemized, automated my business. I'd be making profit. I'd have my marketing nailed on. I'd know the numbers in my business. I'd be working on myself and my mindset. I thought I'm going to give myself 18 months. So what I committed to back then is I committed to between 2 and 3 days a week to work on my business. So I'm talking like 20 hours a week. Now, you might say, Craig, I haven't got 20 hours a week spare. I'm on the tools all day, or I'm on the evenings and weekends, I'm doing my paperwork. And I'm like, I get that. And that's exactly where I were. I were working 80 to 90 hours a week. But what I said to myself is, if I don't fully submerge myself into this and give it like 100% and commit everything to it, my circumstances are not going to change, or they'll change very slowly over 3 to 4 years. And I didn't want that. So once I got my mindset in the right place and developed and worked on me, it's like game on. And for my inner circle members, if you speak to any of my inner circle members, they will tell you I am freaking relentless in pursuit of success. I never, ever stop. So the loaded question is, how quick do you want success? Because if you want it quick, you need to do what I did. And that is, I'm telling you now, I stayed up till 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, getting all my action tasks worked on, working on the business, because that's the only spare time I got, because I were already working 6 days a week on tools and doing all my admin. I had to do things what other people were not prepared to do. And that is, I had to get stuck in, and the only hours I could find when kids went to bed were work till after o'clock in the morning. But I did do because I wanted that. The passion, the drive, the commitment, the pain to change was so much that I had to do it. And I did. And lo and behold, 18 months later, I completely transformed my business and transformed my life. Why? Because I rolled my sleeves up and I got fucking stuck in. That's why. So when people say to me, how many hours should I invest? I say a bare minimum's got to be 8 hours a week. Got to be 8 hours a week as a minimum. What's the maximum? Whatever you can do. So there's no right and wrong answers here. I'm just trying to be honest and tell you, anything less than 8 hours a week and you're going to take forever. 8 hours a week, you'll make some good progress. 8 hours plus a week, that will soon speed that process up. Are you with me? So let's say right now then, you're listening to what I'm saying and you've written a number of how many hours a week down you're going to commit. And let's, again, just for hypothetical, let's just say it's 8 hours, right? The reason why we need to know this now is because once we've got them 13 columns on, I want you to go and I want you to say, right, I'm going to look down them 10 tasks. Which one am I going to start with working on week number 1? Because I can't work on all 10. I could possibly work on maybe 2 or 3 within that 8 hours in a week and start chipping away at 2 or 3 different areas, but I can't work on all 10 in a week. So I want you to go down and say, right, commit to, I'm going to work on either that one single task in week 1, or I might work on that one, and possibly that one. Right, I'm going to do them 3. And then what you're going to do on your spreadsheet, on your row where that is written down, that task, you're going to follow that across to column number 1. And you're going to block that column number 1 out, that cell, you're going to block that out, and then you're going to write in there how many hours are you going to spend that week working on that task. Then you're going to look at the second one and you're going to go, I'm also going to work on that one in week 1. And then you're going to write down how many hours you're prepared to work on that one in a week. And then if you have put a third one down, you'll do the same. Now, the reason why I'm saying how many hours a week are you going to work? Because as you're adding these columns up, it might materialise, well, actually, this has gone over 8 hours. I'm only committing to working on 8, but now I've added 3 or 4 tasks in. Looking at the time that I'm going to assign to each task, it's like it's going to take me over 8 hours. It's actually telling me it's going to be 12 hours to do those tasks in that week. Well, if you're estimating 12 hours, but you're only committing to 8, something's got to change. Something's got to move, because otherwise you're setting yourself up for failure on week number 1. So you'd look at them tasks and go, right, I can't do all 3 because it's adding up to 12. So let me take this one off and let me put that one into week number 2. Now that brings me to me 8 hours. So now I can just do those 2 tasks in week 1 and I'll move that other one over to week number 2. You see what I'm saying? So what I'd like you to do is go down your rows, look at each 10 tasks that you're going to commit to doing over them 13 weeks, and you're going to plot on your spreadsheet which tasks you're going to work on each week over them 13 weeks, and you're going to assign some time to each task so that when you add each week up, it can't add up to more than 8 hours, or so otherwise one of them tasks has got to move on if it adds up to more. If you're looking at it and it only adds up to 6, it's like, brilliant, I've got 2 hours spare, I'm going to bring something forward. So that 2 hours that I was going to invest in week 2, I can bring that into week 1 because it's only taking me 6 hours at the minute and I've committed to 8. So all you need to do is a little bit of moving around with your time, moving around with tasks. And if you just spend literally half an hour having a look at them tasks, assigning time and plotting it onto them 13 weeks, seriously, within half an hour, you have now created a 90-day business plan. That's all it needs. And again, this spreadsheet I'll give you on the business planning masterclass. So when you start to look at dissecting all this lot down, this is not difficult neither. And then the final piece of the jigsaw is now when you look at each week, you know what task you're working on in week 1, or tasks, might be more than one. and you know how long you've assigned to work on that task. So then what I want you to do is go to your online default diary, right? And if you don't know what a default diary is and how to use one to absolutely streamline your time, get more productive, more organized and more efficient, and run your entire business and life through this default diary like I do, I'm going to ask you to go and check out episode number 4 when you finish this episode. Because in episode 4, I go through the exact strategy of how to create a default diary to get super organised and become more productive. And if you're not running a default diary online in today's day and age and you're running a business, I guarantee that you will be wasting time, you'll be unproductive, you'll be inefficient, you'll be flitting from one thing to another, you'll be spinning loads of plates, it'll be a chicken and egg situation, I can't do that until I do that, and all that lot is wasting time. Whereas if you create a default diary and run it the way in which I teach you, I'm telling you now, automatically you'll gain hours and hours and hours of time back per day. And on top of that, you'll become even more organised. So that's episode number 4. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to your default diary and you're going to look on column number 1, week number 1, and you say, right, I've assigned to working on my website content, week number 1, and I've also assigned to creating my first cash flow forecast. You're going to look at them 8 hours, and then you're going to go to week 1 of your default diary, and in week number 1, you've got to find them 8 hours in your diary. And you're going to go and plot that 8 hours in. Now, it doesn't have to be 8 hours in a oneer. It could be 4 2-hour slots. It could be 2 half-day slots that week. It's entirely up to you. But you need to go and find the time in your diary. Because if you don't block the time out, then guess what? You're not going to do it. You're going to go, oh, I'm busy this week. I tell you what, I'll roll that over and do it next week. But you know that next week's never going to happen. So you go into week 1, block out, find the time, might be Tuesday afternoon. I'm going to block out 3 hours to work on my website content and my SEO. So you block the 3 hours out, put in there what it is you're working on, save it. Then you'll go and find the other time, which is creating a cash flow forecast. Find the time in your diary, put it in. That means now on week number 1 of your plan, you know exactly what you're working on and you've put time in your diary to work on it. Then all you're going to do then is go to week number 2. Look at what you've put in week number 2 and what you're going to be working on. You know the amount of hours that you need to invest into your plan. You're going to go back to your default diary to week number 2 and you're going to put them tasks and assign that time into week number 2. And you do that for the 13 weeks. Now, once you've done that, here's what happens, team. People say to me, Craig, I have no idea how you can run 4 businesses and you achieve so much in a short space of time, given the fact that you only work a couple of days a week, right? How the hell do you do all that? And it's like, because I've got a plan. I don't wing it with my time. Here's what I do, team. On a Monday morning, I'll open my laptop and I'll go to my default diary. And in my default diary, I've got time to work on my business in my default diary, just like you're going to have. So all I need to do is open my laptop. The time's already plotted in and I know what I need to work on. And all I need to do is get to the end of that week and have achieved what I've put in my diary for that 1 week. That's it. And I don't have to then think about what's the big vision, because I've already created it. I don't have to think about evaluating my business to work on my weaknesses, because I've already done it. I don't have to work on what I'm going to work on in the 12-month plan, because I've already created it. I don't have to worry about what I'm going to focus on for that first quarter and 13 weeks because I've already created it. And what I'm doing is I'm starting off right at the very beginning with the big vision. And what we've done in this process, probably without you realizing it, we've chunked that big vision down, right? We've looked at the strengths and weaknesses of that vision. We then took the top 40 weaknesses and put them onto a 12-month plan. We then took that 12-month plan and broken it down into a 90-day plan. We then took that 90-day plan and broke it down to a weekly plan. We then took that weekly plan and we've put it into your default diary. So now you've got a daily plan. So all I need to do when I get up on a Monday morning is do what the fuck I've just put in my diary. It's done. It's finished. I don't have to worry about anything. It frees up my headspace. I'm not stressed about the big vision or the 12-month plan. Craig, just do what you've put in your diary. And as long as you do that week to week, over the 13 weeks, right, you'll achieve your quarter plan. You do that 4 consecutive times in a year, you've achieved your 12-month plan. It is that simple. But I break it down to the smallest denominator, which is switch my diary on a Monday morning, look what I've got in my diary. Craig, you've put the time in, so you're not trying to squeeze time in. It's not like you're over busy because you've put time in to focus on it. Just do what you say you're going to do that week and that's it. It's game over. It's game over. And then you achieve your plan within 12 months' time. Now, team, what I'm sharing with you now is not mega complicated, is it? When you think about the process that we've taken you through, it's not hard. It's just that you don't know this. Nobody's ever taught it you, just like nobody ever taught it me. And over 15 years, I have refined it to this point, whereby from a standing start, if you were to join me on that business planning workshop live on Zoom, and there'll probably be, I don't know, there'll be hundreds here on, right? You've got me all day. I'm going to give you the business evaluation 165 questions to work through. I'm going to give you a business planning workbook. I'm going to give you your 12-month spreadsheet. I'm going to give you your 90-day business plan spreadsheet. And you're going to spend 8 to 9 hours with me, right, on that Zoom, and all of us at the same pace are going to work through it. And then you've got me on tap on that Zoom to ask me any questions or if you're stuck on anything, but I absolutely guarantee that by 4:30 p.m. on that day, you will have got your very first 12-month business plan and your 90-day business plan absolutely nailed down. The only thing you've got to do at that point then is motivate yourself, which is where the mindset side comes into it. And you've got to be disciplined with your time that you've put in your diary. All you've got to do is do what you've plotted and planned each week. How simple is that? And that is how you achieve success greater than you've ever achieved before, all within 12 months. And all it's going to take is one day. That's it. So, what is your excuse going to be now moving forward? Because I've given you the strategy. I've told you step by step how to do it. All you need to do is roll your sleeves up, go and do it and get stuck in. And this is the exact process that I take my inner circle members to. And that's why they're growing their businesses by 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 7, 8, 900%. 900% some of our inner circle members are growing their businesses by over 12 months, and it all comes down to this simple plan. The invitation for you to come and join me live on my business planning masterclass is open to everybody. Okay, it's not just for my inner circle members. You're more than welcome to come and join me. Even if this is just the first time you've ever listened to one of my episodes, you're more than welcome to come and join me. Now, if you want to join me on the masterclass, I'm going to ask you to go to the description and the show notes and you'll see it says join our priority waiting list. What you need to do is you need to click that link and then add yourself to our priority waiting list. And then as soon as we've got all the details and the workbooks and the worksheets and everything together for you, we're going to send you an invitation out for you to join the Trades Freedom Club. And when you join the Trades Freedom Club, as part of you joining us, you're going to get this business planning masterclass absolutely free. All part of just joining the Trades Freedom Club. I can't be any fairer than that, right? So that's what you need to do. Click the link, add yourself to the waiting list. Keep your eyes peeled over the coming weeks for an email and a text message with further details on how you can access this powerful business planning masterclass. And finally, if you're not already a member of our thriving, supportive and helpful Trades Freedom Club Facebook group and community, come and join us absolutely free. Again, click the link in and around the description and show notes and come and join us in our thriving community and join thousands of professional tradesmen and women that are all helping and supporting each other on the growth of our businesses. Now, remember, the business is never the problem. The problem is always the mindset of the business owner. So catch up with you on next week's episode and I'll meet you at the top. Thank you.